Hey Flosstubers, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. I hope you find something you like, and if you've been following me and are back again, welcome back. I'm glad you came back. I am Karen, the Warp Spinster. This Flosstube channel is the Spinster Stitches. My quilting channel, if you're interested in quilting, is also on YouTube called the Warp Spinster, and that covers a lot of my mostly improv modern quilting. Today I want to start off with my progress on my Christmas in July projects, which sadly it didn't get a lot of work done. I'm doing a lot of makeover renovation on much of my house and yard, and so that's been taking a lot of time. I also have a quilting trunk show tomorrow at a local quilt shop, and I've been prepping for that as well. But I will show you what I have done so far anyway. First up is Dreaming Miss Christmas, or Dreaming Miss Claus from Barbara Anna Designs. And I really love this design. I love all of her dreaming designs. And I've made a little progress on her. I'm doing this on 32 count Lugana 2/2 using the called for DMCs. And I did her hair and some of this hair back here and then finished her sweater. So I'm almost ready to move it over in the Q-snap, but she's a lot of fun. I've been thinking about what makes a piece fun to stitch and another one not as much fun. I mean, not horrible, but not as much fun. And I'm not sure I know yet. I'm doing more thinking about it. I'd love to hear from you down in the comments what makes something fun for you. This one, I like her and I like the concept of Miss Claus, and there are interesting colors and shapes. I'll have to do some more thinking, but I really would love to hear from you about your experiences. Pardon me while I put these back in the bags so I don't lose track of anything. I'm trying to have the zippers all unzipped so you don't have to listen to that anyway. The other one that I did quite a bit of work on was one of the Santas from Prairie Schooler, and this is Santa Collection 92 to 95, which I've had in my stash for a long time, and I'm working on this one. So this is the design series. And I've been making a lot of bags, so I don't know that I had this last time. This is, I don't know whose fabric it is at this point. And here's the thing about this one. I did quite a lot of it, got much of the Santa finished, and the further I got, the less happy I was with the contrast of the white and the background. This is 18 count Fiddlers, I think. And it's okay when it's surrounded by something. So surrounded by that red it's okay. But in the design, there are snowflakes and that moon that are not going to show up very well. So I may go ahead and finish this, but not do the background. So it would just be a tall Santa, maybe put in a star or two or something, but I don't think there's going to be enough contrast. So I have ordered some new fabric, which hopefully will arrive today, and then I will restart him. I'm also thinking that on this one, to help this to stand out better on his cuffs and at the bottom of his coat, I think I might do either some turkey work or French knots or something to make those more dimensional so that they stand out a little more. I don't know that it'll be necessary once I get the darker fabric, but it might. I mean, this will be a test to see how that will look with it. Might be kind of interesting to do something dimensional with the earth too. We'll see. but progress and backward progress or something on that one. I dumped all of my bags on the floor. Hang on. So those are the ones that I probably did the most on, and as you can see, that isn't a lot, but I did some. That's the way of stitching and just life, I guess, huh? Next up is one of my own designs, which is Ho Ho Santa. And sorry for the rattle. This is the mock-up for the finished piece. And I'm doing it on 32 count 2/2. It's going slowly. It's essentially a full coverage on the Santa, so I'm just working on his hat. And, you know, I have a long way to go. This is not very much of Santa. Got to get cracking before wintertime when he's coming down the chimney. Needs to be coming down the chimney if he's finished. So that one is coming along, but slowly. Then I think I included Floyd, didn't I? This is the chart for him, but I painted a needlework canvas of him. I will probably also do him in cross stitch, but I did a needlepoint canvas, stitch painted it, and I did his fur, and this is in Petite Very Velvet. This is an 18 count canvas. I'm not sure I'm happy with it. I've been talking to needlepoint friends, and I'm almost thinking I want to do a short turkey work thing on it. It looks too bulky to me somehow. I love Very Velvet, but this is looking pretty bulky to me. And then I just did a little bit of the darker gray in the background, but I'll have to see. I'll have to see what happens there. Then, and I have lots of kind of luscious threads for that one, the Very Velvet and some fireworks and sparkle rays. Oh yes, and then another needlepoint one is this stocking from Whimsy and Grace, which this is an 18 count, and I'm just doing basket weave, so this is going to take a long time. Stockings typically in needlepoint take a very long time because of their size, and each canvas thread, of course, has something covering it. Basket weave is essentially a specific order of doing tent stitch, and I purchased, it's called Karen's stocking, and I purchased it after Whimsy and Grace, there was a fire at her home, and she lost everything, all of her samples and painted canvases and everything. So I ordered this as a part of a sort of a fun drive. Not really. I mean, we paid for them, but it is, and this was part of a cooperation among a lot of quilt shops to do trunk shows and just order some of her canvases so that she could get back on her designing feet. And I love her stuff, so I was very happy to do that. Progress, I'm expecting this would take a long time. I'm more of a process person than a finished person where stitching is concerned anyway. Quilting's kind of a whole other thing, but that's another story. And then this series that I purchased from Sugar Stitches.
Here's what I found.
Siri, thank you, Siri. He found me some sugar stitches on Etsy. This is Holiday Gingerbread House. This is Sugar Stitches. And Holiday Tea, Holiday Gingerbread. I got 2 of them, so I'll do a giveaway probably closer to Christmas. And then the Holiday Kringle. I got it kitted. That's as far as I got, although I love them. I really do want to get a start on them. This is a gingerbread. It's, I think, a 36 count. I have it here somewhere. Does it tell me here? 32 count Belfast linen, and it is called Gingerbread. I just think it's such a rich, luscious color. And will be using the called for DMC flosses. And that was from Sugar Stitches. Now, I did kit this one up. This is Dawn Chorus from Long Dog Samplers. Let me take that out of the plastic. Dawn Chorus from Long Dog Samplers. This is the first Long Dog I'll be doing, and I have all of the flosses, but I'm waiting for the fabric. This is my birthday start, but if the fabric does not arrive today, then I'm out of luck for this as my birthday start. It might be the day after my birthday start. So that's my update on my Christmas stuff. Not as much as I would have liked to get finished, but we have time before Christmas, right? And Christmas comes every year. That's what I keep telling myself, comes every year. Next up, I'll do some finishes, and haven't been a lot of those either. I did finish this piece, Quilting Tools, which I have an ornament in needlepoint of this, but I also charted it for cross stitch. And this actually, if you're interested in it, if you sign up for my Warp Spinster newsletter, then you will get this chart for free with the next edition of the newsletter, which will be October 1st. So I do have this chart ready to go, and you can sign up for my newsletter at any page on my Warp Spinster website, which is warpedspinster.com, and I'll post a link down below. So if you're interested in that chart, you can sign up, and if you're also interested in quilting, you could get some quilting things as well. The other is halfway finished. Can you say an almost finished object? I did do some more work on, this is my own design, needlepoint design. It's done on 18-point canvas. And I finished the stitching and stretched it, laced it to stretch it. And then I've just been going back and forth about how I wanted to finish it and what fabric I wanted to use back here. And I designed some fabric and had it printed and ordered, and I don't know, it just wasn't right. But I thought this polka dot was good, and I'm going to put, I think, a black twisted cord around it, and then put it in a frame. I think I might do a flat fold, not sure, but I love this. It has been staring at me while I'm doing sewing in my studio and back. So she's a good old pal of mine. And I forgot another one I finished. I'll be back. Also finished, this is my own design. This is Chocolate, Next Question. And this one took a while. I often take my time doing needlepoint. It's a very relaxing, meditative thing for me. It took me a while to decide what I wanted to do in the background, and I ended up with this just plain stitch that looks like corduroy to me. And then I'm doing I don't even know what the stitch is called here, but it's a fairly complex, time-consuming stitch, so it took me a while to get all the way around. I thought about perhaps doing just a few rows of basket weave in this natural color all around the edge. And I started it and decided I didn't really like it. If this is going to be framed, or even if it's going to be stretched, I probably will do just a couple rows that match this checkerboard kind of thing going around, so that as it goes around the edge, you won't see the white canvas. So I'm happy to have that one finished. I know I may have some more work to do, but to get it ready to be fully finished, but I'm pretty happy with the results. It took me a long time to get there. And that's it for my finishes. As I said, I have been doing a lot of bags. Maybe I could show some of the bags. My Long Dog sampler is in this bag. And I'm just using fabrics from my stash. This one I think is a lot of fun. I've got kind of a plaid-y sort of look, and then just a plain bright red on the inside with a striped binding. Love me striped bindings. I do a lot of those on quilts. And then this is just the green and teal polka dot with the plain teal on the inside. And this is a boho bead that I made. There are lots of a bent boho bead. Lots of videos on YouTube if you're interested in doing. It's sari silk that's wrapped around basically a straw, and then wire and beads and ribbons and whatnot. So it was kind of fun to do. That one I think you've seen. You saw that one and that one. Okay, I'll try to remember to point those out as I'm doing them. Up next, some whips. I have lots of whips, most of which are new starts because I'm fairly new back into the needlework and cross-stitch world. So I have a lot of new starts, which are whips. One of my favorites is Sheep Heap, which is over there. Honestly, I thought I had these organized. And this one, to be honest, I would have bought just for the name. So this is Plum Street Samplers Sheep Heap. And the pattern includes conversion for DMC, and that's what I'm doing. And it's just adorable. I mean, the name, Sheep Heap, honestly, you just have to do it, don't you? So this is Sheep Heap. I made pretty good progress on it. And I also got a black sheep needle minder. Actually, that is a button. I ordered the button and then just put the magnets on. And that's a fun one to do as well. And I had some sheep fabric in my stash, so I was able to do that. And then I have some sheep charms, a black sheep and a white sheep. And that's Sheep Heap. I'm doing it on, it's a 32 count linen. It's from my stash from years ago, so I have no idea where it came from. But I'm doing 2/2 with the DMC conversion. Now it's Sheep Heap. Oh, and this is how I organize my flosses. I know a lot of stitchers like the floss drops, and I used those back in the day when I was doing it before, but because this is how I do my needlepoint threads, I just found it easier to do it this way. So I just put each one in a floss away bag and then hang them on a ring in order so that I can flip to them easily. When I finish a project, then I can take them off the ring and put them on larger rings that I've divided into, I don't want to say it 100s. Now this may be a holdover from my library days and following Dewey for a long time, where you've got that big subdivisions and then you got the smaller subdivisions. So I'm doing the 100s. And so I'll have all of the 100s together, for example, and I will put them on a ring in order. I know a lot of people like it by color, but this just seems to work better for me. Keeps everything neat. I know where to go to find it. I also have a list on a spreadsheet on my iPad that lists the colors that I have. So as I am putting together a shopping list, I can tell which ones I have and which I don't, rather than rummaging through everything. And as always, as before, you think you have every color possible and then you don't. Next up for whips, what do I have? Oh yes, oh my, yes. So Frankly, a lot of what I have been doing are full coverage. And, pardon me, I dropped my list. But I can pick it up with my toes. All right, full coverage, sorry. I'm easily distracted. That's one of the reasons I haven't gotten a lot done. The first full coverage design that I bought was the Grand Library, artwork by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I love this. Amy Stewart has wonderful stuff, gorgeous colors. I maybe shouldn't have done a max colors for it, or a color expansion, but you know, what did I know? And I have gotten a bit of a start on that. Here's the bag. Sorry. Not much of a start, I will grant you. Inside of the bag, both of those are my fabric designs. And this is what it looks like. If I am doing a full coverage, then I will go through and find the colors that I need for the first couple pages and pack those up. I'm doing them in a diagonal. This one, I really don't have much finished, as you can see. I'm parking with this, but I'm learning a lot when I'm doing the full coverage, which is good. That's why I do just about anything, is to learn things. I'm learning that parking does not seem to work very well for me. It's very frustrating, and I've got all these hanging out, even if I tie them. It's just frustrating to me. So I will continue to work on that and see if I can get used to parking, and we'll see where that goes. I am doing diagonal on all of them, though that seems to work better for me than doing the 10 by 10 squares and then pages. So we'll see how that goes. The next one that I started on, I'm very careful to say started on because you'll find out later. I have an awful lot that I haven't started on. The next one that I started on was a little more reasonable in size, and that is a story keep. Phoenix 1. Artwork by Stephanie Law and charted by Heaven and Earth. And I'm doing this, it's a woman is a phoenix rising, and it just feels like something I needed to do right now. And I have gotten a start on that. That is on, I didn't say on, the Grand Library is on 25 count 2/2. Part of what I'm doing with several of these full coverage, or at least it's my rationalization for it, is to try different fabrics, different counts, and whether I want to do 2/2, 1/1, etc., which will be determined somewhat by the design, but I'm just giving them a try to see what works. This one I'm doing also on 25 count, easy count, and you're probably not going to be able to see this too well because the colors are quite light up in the corner. I'm doing this as 2/1 tent stitch. And it seems to be working fine, although I'm used to doing tent stitch in needlework or needlepoint, but for some reason it's a little confusing to me when I'm doing cross stitch. Perhaps because needlepoint is usually painted on canvas so that I can easily see where the stitches go. If I'm just doing a tent stitch, then I have to do a little more, I can't visualize it as well. My spatial capacity, spatial relationship capacity is not great. So somehow just that half stitch and then I have to go diagonally. If I have a full cross, then I can easily, that's diagonal, and I can do that. So I'm learning, but I really love this one, and as you can see, it's still in the frame. I am working on it. And I have ordered a couple more story keeps, as you will see. Couple, 3. And then this bag is just, again, fabric from my stash. There's some yarn balls and a stripe on the inside. I'm really having fun making the bags. I would never have believed that I would when I started all this. The third full coverage that I have actually started, although I haven't made a lot of progress on it, is what I call Galactic Landscape. And I charted this myself from one of the first photographs from the James Webb Space Telescope. They are such awesome, in every sense of that word, photographs. So I loaded this into Max Stitch and charted it. And this is actually the mock-up. I'm offering it for free in honor of all those that worked on the telescope and anything to do with the telescope and space exploration. I'm offering it for free. The photographs from NASA are public domain. They're a federal agency. And I just fell in love with this one. So I will put a link down below in the description about how you can access the chart. I will say that I downloaded it both for print. There's a link there for a print copy that also will load into Pattern Keeper, but I still haven't figured out how to get the cover page to show on a PDF in Pattern. I've done everything I can think of. I've made it as the first page in the PDF, after I exported it and I put it as a front. I don't know, but there is a separate link there for you to download and print a paper copy or just have a digital copy, because it's not working in Pattern Keeper, but it's free. Work around it. So if you're interested in that, I think it's going to be fun to stitch once I get past that upper corner, which is, just a lot of dark. There is one little star in there, but it will get better soon. So this is on 25 count again, easy count, Ada. And I'm doing this 1/1 full cross. The coverage is not perfect, but 2/1 was way too bulky. And the 2/1 10th stitch, I don't enjoy as much because of that spatial relationship issue my brain has. I think this will be all right. The difference in how easy it is for me to stitch and see where the stitches are, I wear highly magnified glasses, I have really good light. I think it's because this is so dark and the lighter ones are easier for me to see the actual stitches, to see where I'm going. So I think that's part of it, but I'm going to soldier on with this and see how it goes as I get further along, but it'll get there. And I love that photo so much. I just love that photo. And this bag is on, again, all these fabrics come from my stash. I'm having to buy a lot of zippers, but the fabrics for the bags I pretty much have. So those are my works in progress. As a quilter, I have a gazillion works in progress. As a stitcher, not so much. I have lots of things kitted and I buy lots of things, but doing them is a whole other thing. Something else that I discovered, and I just double checked with some quilting friends the other day. I've noticed that whips are work in progress. That's common between quilting and stitching, but actually, at least around here, among my quilting friends, we use UFOs more often, unfinished objects. And I'm finding among stitchers that UFO means it's never going to be finished. Among quilters, it's I'm working on it. So it's basically a whip. It's just another way of saying whip. We also have PhDs, projects half done, pigs, projects in grocery sacks. So it's just interesting to see that difference in terminology between the two communities. So next up are things that I have fully kitted. And first, I just fell in love with this canvas when I saw it at my local needlepoint shop, which is Village Needleworks in Omaha, Nebraska. And this is Swirling Snowmen. And the artwork is by, or the canvas is by You and I Friends, EWE and EYE Friends. And I have a stitch chart from Susie Valerie, who does really nice stitch charts. And then I have a boatload of great threads. I started kitting this. My shop could do most of the threads or substitutions, except for some of the Krynics. And Krynic was difficult to come by in the pandemic because they retooled to do PPE stuff. So, which is great. Thank you, Krynic, for doing that. I've got all kinds of, I got Splendor, and I've got Silk Road fibers, and silks, and silk lame braid. I've got all kinds of fun things. So they helped me to kit it. Sometimes they had the exact threads that she called for, and sometimes they made reasonable substitutions. But I did finally get the last Krynic. I think it got lost in the shuffle somewhere. They called to tell me it was there, and I forgot, or I don't know what happened, but I did finally get that kitted up with that last spool of Krynic. My next kit is another Barbara Anna Designs, another Dreaming Of, and this one is Dreaming of Klimt. And this is going to be a gift for a friend. And if she's watching, she'll probably know who she is. Just love her. This friend and I took a river cruise through the Netherlands and Belgium, and we found some tapestries with Klimt designs on it, and she bought one of them. Truth be told, I talked her into it. She was wavering and I talked her into it, but I think she'll love this. So I don't know when it will get finished, but I think I'm going to really have fun stitching that one. What else do I have for kits? Swirling Snowmen. I guess that's it for kits. Oh, the hands-on design. I do have, I think I showed you this as a new acquisition last time, the 17th from her date series. And this is done as a block, part of her block party. But I fell in love when she showed it with this done as just one long piece, and I just absolutely fell in love with that. So that's the version that I'm doing, and I am using the fabric that she used, which is a, let's see here, linen 28 count artichoke. This is slight tinge of green on it. It is very much a light artichoke color. So that one is ready to start too. That may happen more in the winter time as we approach St. Patrick's Day. I am 50% Irish, so, and 50% German. Stubborn tempers. We're a great bunch. All right, what do we have now? Oh, new acquisitions. Oh, it's going to be a long one. My plans for August are to do Halloween, and I'll talk more about that hopefully in a week or so. Once I get this trunk show out of the way, I think some things will be cleared up. I got my $20,000 privacy fence for the backyard all ordered, but that's not going to happen until Christmas. But I got a lot of other stuff to do. I'm hopeful that I'll do at least a short one on some of the Halloween things that I have. Honestly, I'm not a Halloween fan. I might even say that I for years and years, I hated Halloween. I mean, I pass out candy to the kids and all of that, but I think I finally realized that I don't like trick or treat. I was a seriously shy child, and trick or treat was I won't say traumatic, but it wasn't a lot of fun for me. So I think it's a lot of trick or treat, and I don't like the the seriously spooky kinds of things. I like whimsical witches and that kind of thing. So I'm more of a whimsical Halloween person, I'm finding. All right, but more about that later. Now for new acquisitions. Much of what I have acquired are full coverage, and there are a lot of them. I will never in my lifetime be able to finish all of these. But, you know, some of them you enjoy more than others, and there are some that I love the finished product, but it's going to be either a whole lot of confetti that's going to just drive me a little bit, or a lot of blocks of dark color. And in the end, they'll be wonderful, but the whole start thing is a little tougher. One that I did just purchase from Farmer's Attic on Etsy is Dreaming of Daisies from Rosewood Manor, and it's designed by Karen Kluba. And I love the subtlety of that white against the parchment. Haven't begun to get this yet. I just got it in the mail, I think, yesterday. And daisies are one of my favorite flowers. I think it's, I don't know, the contrast of that dark green and the white of the daisies and a little bit of gold in there. Really love that one. So I did get that one. That is not a full coverage. I have another Halloween one coming, but let's get to my full coverage. A lot of HAEDs, but a couple others as well. So one of them is a story keep called Star Weavers, and the artwork's by Tom Cross, charted by Heaven and Earth. My Apple Watch is telling me lunch is ready. Thank you, Siri. And that is one of the story keeps. Another story keep that I ordered is Ripples, and this is by Stephanie Law, charted by Heaven and Earth. I have those, frankly, because the other story keep that I've started, the Phoenix, I decided, well, I want to start, I want to do it on a different fabric. I want to try it on a 28 count, easy count. And then I had to look at it, I like what I'm doing with that one. That one's okay. So I already had the canvas cut and zigzagged around the edge. I can't waste that canvas. I have to go get another. So I got two. And there is another story keep, I think, but it's not that long, narrow one. So I bought it just because I wanted it. All right. Then we've seen the Grand Library, Galactic. Oh, supersized Bibliodame. This artwork is by Jacek Jurka. I hope I'm saying that name right. I apologize if I'm not. If I'm not, and you know the correct pronunciation, please put it in the comments. I really, really try to get people's names right. And this is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is for my best friend who is also seriously a book nut. He would have a library like this if he could. Now this is supersized max color. I am 4 months older than he is, and something tells me working on this is going to outlive both of us, but we'll give it a try. He doesn't know it's coming, so he doesn't know that it's way behind. Next up is Celtic Roots, and this is artwork by John Ross McKimmey, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is my Celtic roots, half Irish. My dad's 100% Irish. You know what? I'm remembering, I took some photos when I was in Ireland. I went to Ireland to see the village where my great-grandmother was born. This is my dad's grandmother that he just loved dearly. It's the only place in the world he ever wanted to go. He was in the Army during World War II in Korea, so he's been a lot of places, but he always wanted to go to Ireland to see the village, which is Ballingarry. And when he finally could, in terms of where his life was, his health was not good enough to be able to sit on a plane for 13 hours and go. So I agreed, as a good, dutiful daughter would do, to go to Ireland for him and take photos and meet his, I don't know, I think she's my third cousin, 112 times removed or something. It's closer than that, but to meet her that he'd been in touch with. So I went to Ireland, spent some time mostly in Dublin, but then took a cab to Ballingarry. It's a 3-hour drive, but the buses only run once from Ballingarry in the morning to Dublin and then Dublin back. And it was a weekend. There was no way I could do it. And there's no way I was leaving Ireland without going to Ballingarry, which is why I went there in the first place. So the friend I was traveling with and I hired a Dublin cabbie that was recommended by the hotel, and we just had a blast. He was a hoot, and we just had a good time going down there. And I met this cousin who was 10 months pregnant. And when I talked to her the night before, she said, now, if I don't come, don't panic. It's just that I've had the baby or I'm in labor. Okay, great. Are you sure you want to do this? But she lived in town and she actually worked for the surgeon in town. So anyway, we met with her and she took me out to where the homestead was and the cemetery where my great-great-grandfather is buried, and spent some time there and got some photos. And she did not have the baby that day, but very shortly thereafter. And the cab driver, James, she led us from from town, the church in town, out to the cemetery. And he just went like a bat out of hell. And James, who's a Dublin cabbie, is like, what is she trying for the Olympics? What's the deal here? And I said, she's 10 months pregnant, so she's trying to probably beat the baby. And he looked at me and I said, cab drivers know how to deliver babies, right? So we're good. We had a fun day. And she's a lovely, lovely woman. And Ireland is gorgeous and the people are wonderful. Anyway, that's a very long story for my Celtic roots. More than you wanted to know about my travels. Next up is the College of Magic Supersized Max Colors. What was I thinking? This is artwork by James Christensen. I love his stuff. Charted by Heaven and Earth. I love this one. I may have to start it. The level of detail in there, and with the supersized and max colors, we can really, that will be fun. Here's one that is not Heaven and Earth. This is from Cross Stitch Studio. So this one is from Cross Stitch Studio, and it's called Swinging on a Star. Swings are one of my favorite things, even as an adult woman. Loved them as a child, too. The artwork is by Mag 11, and the chart is by Serenity Studio, the Cross Stitch Studio. Another one from Cross Stitch Studio is Have Broom Will Travel, which is another one of my Halloween things and Halloween witchy things. That artwork is by Elena Fayankova. I think I've got that right. Again, if I'm wrong and you know how to pronounce it, please let me know. I like to get names right. Chart is by Serenity Studio, Cross Stitch Studio. And I have tried putting these into Pattern Keeper and they don't seem to be going, at least the stitch colors, the thread colors are not. I'll play with a little more. I just gave it a quick go this morning and they didn't go in. It's not a big deal. I can do paper one too if I can't figure it out. Oh yes, I have several more. All of the rest are heaven and earth. And this is Queen Bee. This is another by James Christensen, charted by heaven and earth. That's going to be a lot of dark background. Going to have to do that in good daylight, I think. And also by James Christensen, this is Butterfly Night. This just cracks me up. Look at all the detail on that. That one is going to be fun to stitch. I'm sure there's lots of confetti going on in there, but that is just pure fun. That's 450 wide by 601 high. You have to be high to get that stitched. And then this is Astronomer, artwork by Randall Spangler. Lots of detail in that one too. Maybe I should do that at the same time as I'm doing the space photo. And then for a Christmas one, I'm doing A Joyous Feast, artwork by Donna Gelsinger. I love that Santa is sharing Christmas with the Forest of Oak too. You've probably all seen these. I'm just enamored. I'm also doing Sanctuary of Knowledge, also by Randall Spangler. I'm a retired librarian, although one is always a librarian, I think, so got to have a library, in addition to the Grand Library. My favorite of all of them, although I haven't started it, my favorite is Addie's Window by Scott Gustafson. And this I did supersized max colors. But this is definitely me as a child. Actually, this is me now. I have lots of things that I love to do, but all through my life, I've been a reader. Came from a really reading family, so that is it for my new acquisitions, I think. At least the ones that have come. I've acquired some that haven't arrived yet. Now my plans for, oh no, I do have some needlepoint acquisitions. Sorry. One of them is a Halloween one, which I'll show you next time. But I also, when Village Needleworks was having a trunk show of Zecca canvases, Zecca. I love Zecca. And I bought this. This is kind of me in the morning. I haven't chosen threads yet, but it's going to be wild and funky and sparkly and crazy. Anyone who bought a Zecca canvas during the trunk show had their name put in for a drawing, and they called me. And the first time in my life, I'm 68 years old, and for the first time in my life, I won something. So I won another Zecca canvas. And this one has a good chance in that background to do some fun stitches, probably some open stitch work or something. So I was very excited. Thank you, Village Needleworks, of course, for everything you do for me, but also for this win. I'm so excited about that. I'm still excited about that, and it's been a while. I think that's it for today. Thanks for hanging in there with me and going through all of my full coverage designs. I'd love to hear from you which one you think I should do first, next. I have 3 going, bear in mind. But which one you would vote for me to do next. It's been great to spend some time with you. Thanks very much for coming. I hope to see more of you. See you again soon when I cover my August plans and Halloween. I want to do a shout out to Creatively Yours, the Flosstuber. I have been loving watching hers. Check out her Flosstube videos. She's in the Netherlands, and I just really get a kick out of her. I enjoy her. Thanks, everyone. Hope to see you next time. Be well and safe. Bye.